Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. So glad you're here as always on this August month. Cooled down a little bit here, so that's good. Wow, boy, has it been something else, I'm sure, for everyone. I'm looking forward to hearing. Before I get into this, next week, I'm going to be migrating the website to another host provider. I have Bluehost right now, and we're going to another one probably. Their prices have gone up significantly, and I said, no, I don't think so. I can go somewhere else. So hopefully all will still be well afterward. But if Shays Holistics goes offline for a period of time, fear not, it will be back on. It'll just be some technical glitch or something. So I'm not anticipating anything, but just thought I'd mention it. So with that, hello everyone. And we just got back from our vacation, and I will tell you, it wasn't what we expected. Canada was frenetic. I heard it was pretty that much here. It was just incredibly busy here. It was that way up there as well. And so it really kind of detracted a little bit from what we wanted to do because it was just such a challenge to go anywhere. But with that said, it's always nice to get away. And the one thing we noticed just before we left, and I felt it, and it's continuing now. We've talked about how the frequencies have been raising, but the energies that are coming in as of late, just not even that long, maybe longer than 2 weeks, but let's just call it over 2 weeks, have been the ones that break up the old patterns. The energies are, they're still intense, but the type of energy that's coming in is even more so breaking up the old patterns of before in our personal lives and in the world. And as the new comes in, I'm really noticing that. Deborah and I noticed that a lot coming in. All kinds of just weird little odd things kind of just went away, and out of the blue, small things and some, medium-sized things, and then new awarenesses came in. So I don't know what's happening with all of you, but I want to hear about what's going on in your life. So without further ado, let's do that. I'm going to start with Pat, although I suspect you're going to want to defer. Do you want to start, Pat?
Well, not exactly, but I will just say this in case some people are not aware of it, that today is a huge, huge gateway opening, whatever you want to call it. It's the 888 Lions Gate.
Oh, wow.
So it's spiritual awakening and enlightenment, manifestation and abundance, personal transformation, heart-centered empowerment, connection to the higher realms, rebirth and renewal, time to meditate and reflect, set intentions, release old patterns. And we've been talking about that, some of us. Embrace courage and authenticity, engage in heart-centered practices, and seek spiritual guidance. It's really big. That's just one site that I got today from the grandmother, the Native American grandmother, and she had all that on there highlighted. But there's a lot you can read about it if you want to know more. And if you've been feeling out of sync, been feeling spacey, it goes on and on and on, like interdimensional, feeling like you're floating between different dimensions or frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
It probably has to do with this Lion's Gate, which is a yearly thing. But one of the people, Patricia Cota-Robles, said this is the hugest one ever.
Wow.
So with that, I will let somebody else take over.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I wasn't aware of that. I don't keep up on those kinds of things for whatever reason, unless it just gets brought to my attention, and what you just did. Well, that ties in with what we've been talking about here, which is the changing energies. I mean, that's coinciding. But certainly it's a time for spiritual events and happenings. That's for certain. So, wow. Thank you very much, Pat. And I'll come back to you again because you may have more to say, and I'd love to always hear all the add-ons and the other things that you bring in later after the conversation has ensued. So with that, Paula, I know things have to be going on with you. You're always doing things. I know you're either family things, other things, just a mix of things. So I'd love to hear it. So what's going on in your world?
Well, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Pat. Yeah, I did one meditation with the Stargate group today, which I
Mm-hmm.
haven't meditated with them for a while, but it was interesting how closely synced they were with the group, the Alchemy, that I also work with in
Mm-hmm.
regards to the new energetics coming in. The Elohim came in and during this meditation and spoke about the new diamond light that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also for our body regeneration, 888 today's Lion Gate was really big on physical rejuvenation, cellular restructuring. So
Ooh.
there's really a lot going on. My question tonight, to see if there's anything out there, is I am in a group that's doing some, we're doing some really deep work on ourselves. We're really clearing up some things, and I'm kind of stuck. I'm just not feeling the energy to do the work, which isn't like me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, Jeff, if you see something there that I'm missing, or am I just supposed to be in the calm for a little bit and just not even have it as a hesitation or a moment of concern?
Well, actually, interesting you say that because you got these energies coming in from, you're working with these groups, but you've got your own stuff. It's been built. We've talked about it before, and we've talked about things coming up. You're right now where that is happening. You've got a lot of restructuring going on, and it has to happen. And part of this restructuring for you, and I think you already know this, is it's time for these things, some more things to fall away. And when they do, as they do, it can show up in your life out there, in your physical life, as they fall away, and whether that's activities that you no longer do, people that are suddenly that have been with you for a while, or it might be short term or long term, but things can fall away, and then new comes in, and it's going to be more of the falling away before the new comes in, because you're gonna have to reintegrate. So my thing is just keep not my thing. Your guides, generally speaking, they're just saying just keep flowing with what you're doing. It may seem like you're stuck, but you're not. I'm going to say it that way. It's like a log jam that's slowly getting unlog jammed, and it just takes a little while. And it's a lot of stuff. It was just a layer, this wave. You know how a wave can come? Well, layers come in big waves, and this layer here is one that you had to do a whole bunch of other work first to get to this point to where you can do this. Now you're doing this, and I'm glad that they said courage is one of the things Pat talked about that you need. This may require, I don't know, I'm going to use the word courage because I don't have a better word, but resilience, courage. So there's another word for it, but my friend used to call it stick-to-itiveness. I always like that. It's kind of a long word, but it's basically sticking with it and flowing with it, even though it's like, man, is this thing done yet? Move through with some courage in there to get this released. I say released, to let it flow away, dissolve, things restructure as the new comes in, and then you're going to be ready for some of the things that you're working with now. You'll be ready to receive and start processing those. So again, you're not stuck. It's just it takes a while for this. It's moving a bit slower than normal because of the amount of stuff that you're processing and releasing.
Thank you. That actually made perfect sense. And the log jam, I could really see it in my mind. That makes perfect sense because I am finding every now and then something will come up to be released. So that's that opening that space to allow things for movement. So thank you, Jeff. That what a wonderful, beautiful answer. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. And they showed me the logjam. That's why I used it. That was your guides that showed that to me. So they probably showed it to you too.
Yep.
Anyway, wow. Yeah, and just, boy, keep doing it. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And while you were talking, it came to me, something I became aware of years ago, and it was kind of like a blinding flash of the obvious, one of those BFO things, that's like I should have seen it because it's right in front of me. But I noticed that when sometimes, it's a reminder that all things are one, that I would get something from my guide, and my guide would give me information in a certain way. We use certain words because, just like people, our guides have certain patterns that they use because they're individuals as well. And then later, some months later, maybe a year later, I was up in the presence of the Father, and the Father said some things to me, and it was the exact same message, but it was much, differently spoken, more eloquently, as you would expect. But what I became aware of, I was like, boy, oh boy, I should have known that my guide got the information from the source, literally. But I've noticed that too with all these different groups. They may be dealing with each deals with their own thing, and they're focused on their own calling, but yet you may find a whole lot of similarities between all of it. And as you were talking about that, the Lions Gate and your group and how the similarities, I thought that came to me to mention it because all of these things are obviously intertwined. And if we can know that, we can make use of stuff from other groups that we may not even normally work with within our own little group and integrate even more and speed things up. So anyway, thank you for bringing that up, Paula, because that was like, oh yeah, I remember that now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm going to go to the next person on my screen here, Franny and Loree, right? Hello. So who wants to start? I can't. Your audio is off if you're Franny. You're audioless.
Oh, Franny's sitting here saying she wants me to go first.
Okay, please do. Well, hello, welcome, and what's
Hi.
happening? And go ahead.
Well, I can't remember. I guess I last saw everybody at the meditation last month. That's the
Mhm.
last time I saw people. I've been experiencing sciatica. It's my back problem seems to be getting better, except that it's now has this other component. And so I'm getting some acupuncture help, which is helping,
Yeah, looks like it.
but
Yeah.
but I'm sort of caught in between. If I sit too long, my knee stiffens up, and if I do too much, my sciatica gets active, even more active. So I'm trying to find this balance as my body's aging, and I don't seem to be experiencing the renewal of the cellular level, unless I don't know. I don't know what all this is about. And I've kind of been in a little bit of a funk lately. My house projects are not moving along very fast. My windows are really, really dirty. So I don't have the beautiful view that I should have. Um, and I'm really dealing with this physical stuff right now. Trying to continue to do my morning, setting my intention and seeing healing and white light in every cell and all of that. But yeah, just feeling a little lost isn't the right word, but yeah, Paula's word stuck. I feel kind of stuck.
Well,
So
just yours is not the same as Paula's, but the energies that are coming in, and probably the Lions Gate is the energies of that are precipitating or facilitating it as well. But you're actually processing, and I'm going to say in a normal fashion, some things that have been coming up that tied us, as with anything, as we work through something in our life, whatever it is, so we get through, it's like, oh boy, this is great, and it feels like it's all renewing, and we're lifted, and the burden has lightened, and then all of a sudden something else comes in, and sometimes that happens a little less or a little more, as the stuff is released. But then that, having done that, allows us to move on to the next thing. And you're working through a chain of things. And they're linked, and there's more than one thread of them. It's a number of facets of things. And this is the very thing you've been talking about, that you've been working on. And the acupuncturist, by the way, is helping. I agree with you. It is, because they're working
Yeah.
on the pressure points that are helping release these energies. So you're processing to a great deal through your energy field. And when that happens, you experience it, especially women. We've talked about this before, that things manifest to the body much more with females than with males. Although it happens with males too, I've noticed almost consistently it happens, and that's what you're going through. So you're not stuck. It's just processing at a speed that allows you to live your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And if it goes any faster, and this is from your high self, she says you don't want to see faster.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
She just said that. That's almost a quote. You don't want to see faster.
Right.
So, okay. So she said, yeah, go with it. The feeling stuck, part of that's just these energies, and as they're being released. I've always found it fascinating how, as energies are being released, and even though it seems like like we're doing the same, like we're going back into an old pattern, the reality is we're actually releasing it. But how, as that's happening, the things that happen and manifest in our lives, and when you said the dirty windows, that kind of it's like, oh, that ties to these energies coming up. So I want you, I want you to know it, but more importantly, they want you to know that. And you'll get to the point where you'll be ready to do that and some other things. But you've got a chain of these things, so be not dismayed. These are things you've been waiting to be able to release, not only in this lifetime, but for quite some time. And now you're doing it. So be gentle with yourself, be patient. And I said, and I'm one who I can preach it, and I'm not always the one who's always as patient as I should be, but
Right.
keep flowing with it. So anyway, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, you got anything, Paula, or?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Lorraine, so what I wish to share is look at something in your life where you have pinched it off and not wanted to look at it.
Mm.
That also could be a bit of the sciatica, somewhere that you just have kind of, done that closure on, but left enough narrow gap for just in case. See if there's something there that's ready to go that maybe you haven't even thought about for quite a while.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks for, I love it because we all get different pieces of the puzzle, and it's great when we share it. So thank you so much. Loree, is there anything else before we ask Franny what's happening?
I just, anything you can tell me about my relationship with my son Bo is helpful. I'm asking daily that our higher consciousnesses are working together to make this a more positive relationship. And if you have any information on that, that would be good.
All I can tell you is that it is what it is as it is right now, and it's going to be that way. And part of what's going to help, that's actually, it may not seem like it, but it's in the process of helping, is this stuff that your high self, you don't want to see faster, that this chain of things, as these are released, and it'll take a while because a bunch of them you really need to go, they're kind of a group of related things. But once they kind of go and go back into the light, and you're free of that particular group of them, you're going to see, I won't call it a dramatic change, but I'm going to say you're going to see a positive change in certain aspects, plural, very narrow ones, but you're going to see it in your relationship with him. And those are going to be the outer, the interconnected results of what you're doing. And as you're doing it too, it's also not only helping him, but helping some others.
Okay.
So
anything that I can add to my meditation or think or say or do regularly that would be helpful that I'm not already doing?
believe it or not, the answer is basically keep doing what you're doing. My answer is no. There isn't anything you immediately to do right now, but be open as things come in, because they are going to come in from time to time.
Okay.
And they'll seem like little things, but these little things are a bit much bigger than they appear. So when you get them, certainly take them on board. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm. All right. Franny, what do you have to share? Anything happening in your world?
Um, I went to a lovely retreat last weekend and it was just so restorative. We're camping out and a lot of singing, a lot of praying, a lot of healing energy. And so I had an opportunity to release some stuff, let go of some stuff that I've carried for a while. We're letting go of some grief, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was very good. That was very good. They were really just wonderful people, wonderful people. And it was interesting that prior to going, I was having a number of little like hiccups that were, stumbling blocks, but then I was able to kind of detach from everything. And I have this big garden this year, and it's taken a lot of time to water. And I got the drip system set up like just in time to go on this trip, and it wasn't really adjusted yet. So I waited a day and made sure it was working right. And then I found somebody that was new to me to come in and take care of my cats because my
Mm-hmm.
cats were not happy that I was not around. So it just felt like a really good, it felt like a pilgrimage, I'll say that. It felt like a
Oh,
pilgrimage where I
yeah.
knew that I would get on the road when I did and that all would be okay and that yes, it would be nice to have been there a day earlier or some other time, but I was just like, it's all good. It's all good. I'm going and
Mm-hmm.
I met a lot of new people,
Mm-hmm.
had some really interesting conversations. And then I met people that I hadn't seen in like maybe a dozen years, 12 or 13 years. So that was interesting when I had gone to this same thing a number over a decade ago. So, yeah, it's one of those experiences that I feel like it's going to keep percolating and I'll keep processing and integrating.
Yeah.
I feel like my body still, my mind, body, spirit is still kind of uh, letting it all settle, which is good. Um, and as a result of the big push to get the garden all taken care of before I left, things are much easier now that I'm back home. I most stuff is on a drip system, and I don't have to spend a couple hours watering. So I guess I would just have like the question I would have about that would be um, is there anything from my guides that it would be good for me to hear that maybe I didn't hear so clearly when they were trying to deliver it to me? Is there anything from my guides or high self that um, about that experience that it would be good for me to hear?
Actually, it's kind of interesting. They said yes, there's some things they tried to tell you, but but what was interesting is that you're now, because you've let it go, it's not necessary to tell you. What they were going to tell you while you were in the process of doing stuff. Well, things come, being released. I guess I'm going to use that word. Uh, and but now you don't need to know because it was that they were going to tell you to help facilitate it, and you did it anyway. And that's good. One of the things I did get when you were talking, and they were showing it to me, and they do this. Um, One of the things, and this is true of this group, I think of lots of people in this lifetime, I think, because this is the time when people from the Atlanteans all came back into this time frame and to, for many of them, to learn the lessons they didn't catch when they were there. And this is the time to do that and to release a whole bunch of things. And I don't know which one of your guides said it, but she says, she said, you're this is certainly the lifetime for you to clean house, and they mean your energetic bodies and all the cleaning out all the things that it's time. it's probably would have been good before, but now this is one of the things. So that was what they want you to know, and
Wow.
and you're doing it. And there is something that I think you had come through during the trip, during your time there, but you need more processing before they can talk to you more about it, just so you know. So there is some information coming, further information, but you have to process through this before I think it's going to make sense for you. And to have context. That's probably a better way of saying it. It'll have more context once you get it done. And they're going to wait. It's not going to be long. It's like a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's hard to tell on the inner planes, as I often say, but it's not going to be long before you're going to get that. And it feels like it's a positive piece of information. I'm going to use the word even uplifting. So, yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
you're welcome. Well, thank you for sharing. And I like how you describe things. Go ahead.
So I I have another question that's completely unrelated, another
Sure.
topic. And I'm not quite sure how to say it, so I want to choose my words carefully. And if you feel like we shouldn't talk about it here, then we'll do that in another time and place. Um, the topic is about inadvertently taking on other people's stuff. And there's a young girl, a 15-year-old that I'm working with, and she's been on a family vacation, and there's a sick family member.
Mm-hmm.
And the sick family member has been kind of in a negative space. And the girl has been attaching because she sees that her aunt is
Mm-hmm.
almost making herself sick by the words that she's using.
That's
And so I've
true.
been working with the girl to detach and to detach with love, and to find ways that she can kind of hold her own energy. One of the things that has been challenging is that uh, the family has had some um, psychics and energy healers and people that see spirits. And the mom has told the daughter, I'm gonna take some of your depression. I'm gonna take some of your feelings. I'll
Mhm.
take that burden from you. And so the girl has gotten the idea that she can take stuff from other people and help them. And even with her very, very, very sick aunt. And I've said, I want you to witness their struggle and love them. And, this is between them and the creator, and it's not yours to take on. And I'm concerned. I don't want you to take that on. But she's not in a place where she can hear that. And there's something else about that I was going to say. And so I wanted to just see if there's anything you can say that would help me in my work with her. Like, she has a dad who poo-poos all of it, but I think as soon as she's 18 and an adult, I think she's going to pursue a lot of different avenues that would really um, help her learn how to be like that conduit of, you know, the creator's healing and the creator's love coming through without trying to take on anybody's stuff. So I think you probably get the idea from that. My question is just, I she's young, she's vulnerable. I think it's horrible for her to try to take it on, and I'm not sure the best way. I've thought of maybe having the mom come in and working with the mom and suggesting to the mom that the daughter may have these abilities too, but she's really young and wide open at this point, and it would be good to let her grow up a little bit and get a little bit more maturity before she goes into any sort of healing field.
Yeah, and with the mom, and you already know this, you'll just have to be careful how you have to thread that needle carefully, because she, obviously for complex reasons, she's sees things the way she sees them. And I think but she would be, the fact that you when you talked about the daughter being impressionable, that certainly is true, and she'd be open to be open to alternative approaches in that she could possibly hear you. with the daughter. She's just not at a point because of her relationship and how she sees these different people in her life. They have validity, and she doesn't see some things. And I think you can bring it to her attention, and when the time comes, she will be ready to hear it. Boy, at this point, what I'm getting from your high self and from the higher divine is just to keep being open to your guidance as it comes in and flow with that. And you'll know when you're hitting a point where it's actually the situation to deal with it is a little more delicate and finessing this to get them to move forward so that they something isn't said that is perceived not the right way, especially with the daughter. But she's also has some impression, and I got this as you were talking. One of the things that I was aware of is that she can use some of these things to bypass actually having to deal with it at an inner level. There's some of that going on too. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. There's a bit of that, and she's not even consciously aware of it, but that she's feeling. That's what I'm watching her at the inner intuitive level. That's what she's. I would say intuitively perceiving that this can be a mechanism. That's why when the mother and others say what they say, it has validity for her, and that she wants to try doing that. But I think what you're saying, your approach to the mother, if you can thread that needle to where she can hear you, she'll be open to saying, hey, let's let the daughter do it this other way. And then I think it's just going to take a little more time for her to be able to be with you and gaining ever increasing trust with you, to be open to other possibilities. And she's moving in that direction. So I think my answer is not my answer, from your higher guidance, is what I'm relaying is to just keep following what your intuition is right now. More is going to be coming in, and as they work through each, as they're working through things, they're then open to hearing things, and then you're going to become aware of once they process through some things and let some things go and have some new openings, you're going to become aware of how to adjust your approach in the moment sometimes, and then sometimes longer term to open her up. And I think you can do that. And that is clearly what she needs. However, and this is nothing, you're very intuitive and sensitive enough to where someone without your experience could say something that would push her buttons and shut her, and then she could react very much in a lesser way and close things off for a time. So, but don't see that's not a concern for you, but that mechanism is there with her. So my long answer to your question is to just flow with your guidance. That's coming from them. Yes, approaching the mother, if you can thread that needle, it will help facilitate the daughter to be open, and it's just going to take some time with her. So I'd like to say that there's something that could facilitate it quicker right now, but she just needs to process through this streams of energy of things going on. And it seems to be going, honestly, you're doing good work. You're bringing through real positive connections for her, even though it may not look like as much as you would like it. It is moving in a good direction, and just keep her moving that way. And hopefully someone in her own family doesn't push buttons to cause things to go awry. So anyway, just keep doing what you're doing is my short answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Next person on my screen, as it is now, because they sometimes move around on me. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Eryn, hello there, and tell me what's happening with you. Any questions, anything?
Oh boy. Well, it's been quite a full past few months, but the last few weeks have been pretty stressful. And I just realized the other day that I've been trying to do what other people are expecting me to do in a certain situation. And I was like totally having those expectations of myself, and it was totally stressing me out because I can't do what everybody else thinks I should make somebody else do, basically. And I just felt a big relief with that. And
I'm glad.
I just realized, like, oh, I need to just go slow. I need to connect in with myself and, just go moment by moment, day by day. And instead of having these big, like, okay, I've got to do this big thing, like maybe it's just going to be a little thing today and celebrate those.
Yeah.
So that feels a lot better. And
You
yeah,
gave
I
yourself
feel,
good advice. I mean, that is, when I heard it, like, yeah, that's great. Go ahead, continue, please. Thank you.
yeah, it was pretty big for me because I think I have high expectations of myself, and I try to meet everybody else's needs, and it just wasn't working. And I'm like, I'm suffering right now. So,
Yeah. And you've been doing this a while, right?
yeah,
No, I don't, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything. I don't like sarcasm anyway.
yeah,
Um, and that's just from your high self. She wants you to know because there's deeper facets to this that you're going to become aware of. So
okay,
as you become aware of them, this is from her as well as your guides. Don't be nice to Eryn, okay? Be nice to her, and understand that all you're doing is becoming aware of what's already there, and becoming aware is going to allow you to move through it, like you just said. I like what you said. When you were saying that, there's an old song, sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. He says, "I can't do what 10 people tell me to do." That's
oh,
that's that's it. That was what it reminded me of. And you're these are kind of there's you've got some structures associated within your energetic being that have been long-standing parts of that, and your awareness of it. You're going to start taking the poles of that apart, which is what you are ready to do, and you're doing. Keep doing it, and that's going to tie to other parts of your life that you may not know right now in a positive way. Lots of different
awesome.
areas. Okay, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is it. You said little things. Sometimes what is that little thing is the thing that ties all the big things together. So the bigger things, not necessarily big, but bigger things. Yeah. So you're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Wow.
'Cause,
I'm so glad
it
you.
was it
Yeah.
was rough to get to this moment, but it's feeling a lot better than it has in the past month. So I feel like I'm on a better track now.
Yeah. And just again, you're going to be doing this for a while, different pieces and parts of it. So that's good. And
Okay.
yeah, and then okay, just so you know, then it'll seem like you may hit this point of Blahville. I don't know what you call it. Just where things just like, well, it's just kind of like all this stuff, and now this. That's because that has to happen before, and other things, and some integration, and we always talk about that before the next things can come. Next things can come in, and they are, and so as I always say, to be not dismayed. It's good. Oh boy, I want to tell you something, but I can't. It's a good thing, but I can't tell you. So anyway, sorry, I didn't have my poker face. I don't have a very good one. I'm working on that. So,
It's okay.
all right. Well, anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah, good, and oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Anything else?
Um, I don't think so. That's pretty much all consuming at this moment.
That's a good way to describe it. I agree with you. It is,
Yeah.
as it should be. Because you're taking that apart, and that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Marci. I think the last time we had you go first, I feel guilty having always more often than not having you go last. So it's absolutely not least, but last. Here is Marci. What do you have to share, Marci? I'm sure people would love to hear what's going on.
Well, I don't remember a whole lot of anything that's going on. I do remember today, though, and it was probably one that I wouldn't choose to do this day over again. Like Pat was talking about some wild energy today, and it just broke about an hour ago, so I'm really relieved. Let's see. Well, okay, so I'm getting ready to go. I'm going back down to the boys, and then what's in mind is to go from there to the Big Island.
Yeah, no surprise.
Eryn were really good, like right on to hear that for me because of the expectation on myself that not necessarily other people put on me, but I put on myself. So that was a really good reminder for that part. But do you have anything that you want to share with me or can say about what's coming next?
Actually, I do have something. And it's part of what we talked about, the choices, and you chose a path, and it may not be intuitive, obvious what that is right now, because sometimes it takes quite a bit of distance in the rearview mirror to see things more clearly. But I've had a sense for what we've talked about for a while. You've known you've been called to the Big Island, and it feels like you're at a point right now where you've done some things, and you could stay longer, but there's because of some realizations and some things that you've done. Yeah, the Big Island seems to be calling you. You seem to be, that's where you're being guided to go, and some things you're going to do there, and then there's going to be some more choices that'll happen. But you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be kind of as things unfold and you're making choices and you're doing things, it'll become obvious. Oh, you know what? I can do this or that. Okay, I'm going to go do this and that kind of a thing. And you're going to explore opportunities. It looks like you're doing some things. And as you're doing those outer worldly things, which are really spiritual things, and you already know that, they're going to be tied to awarenesses and realizations. And just, it's going to be like that breeze they have in Hawaii, that windward breeze. It always is always nice that's there. It's going to be like a spiritual breeze for you. Of just, it'll be, refreshing, kind of a gentle refreshingness to it. And off and on things slow down, but that's what you're coming into, at least for the immediate time frame when you get back there. So, and it feels to me like it's almost an exploration. You know what I mean? As you're doing this, you're moving into this next unfoldment in your life. It's a real exploration for you in different things that you want to do and where you want to go, just at the practical level, as well as just the intuitive and spiritual levels, how, who's in, who's out, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And-
It's a thing because I see the Big Island when I do the meditations, but just in everyday flashes, I'll see that little town north of where the boys are, Trinidad. And it's, why am I still seeing that when I'm getting the other thing in the meditations? And for that matter, I would just sit here on the couch if it weren't for the length of the winters,
I think when you should go back to see them, there's a few more things to wrap up.
Yeah, it feels like we help each other there.
Yeah.
Probably all three of us do together, help each other with some things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like I'm to stay there with them either.
No, and you'll know how much longer. There's a little variability of how long you can be there. It won't be that much time. And as you get ready to go, just so you know, and this is from one of your boys' guides, one of them. They've got some stuff, their own, we all do, we're all working on things. So if you leave and there's some odd, weird discord about some topic or something, let it go. It's them. It's part of their, that's something that if that comes up, it has to do with their, that's the way they're going to process your leaving. And it's okay.
Okay.
It's not you, it's them. It could be just one, but it could also, the other two, looks like the other boys could, anyway, it could be more than one person involved. I'm not sure who's who there, everybody. So, but that's what it looks like. And it has to do with them. You know how sometimes when somebody, in relationships, people go through this thing, everything's really just fine. And all of a sudden, when, you know, we've got to go something comes up that neither wants to do, or, you know, that, you know, it's not what you want to do. They get into a dispute, or, you know, a mild, you know, and it's just all that is, it's just the change energy coming in, and the low self not knowing what to do with it. That's what that has to do with them. But so it'll be blessed. It's just satisfy, and they'll let it go, and they'll realize later what it is. And if that comes up, I don't know that it will, but it could. And your guys wanted you to be aware of it, not to take it on for you. It's not about you.
Okay.
Okay. It may seem like it, but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing, I don't know if this is just I don't know if there's any value to this, but I've been looking at and practicing a little bit astral projection, just mainly to disidentify with the physical form so much,
Mm-hmm.
to free up the identity a little bit. Do you see that being of value for me, or?
Only thing I'm getting that we need to be aware of, because boy, you really, when you jump into something, you really tend to go into it, and really you put your heart into it. Make sure you keep yourself a protective bubble around you as you're doing it, because the method you're using can open you up to some just lesser energies. Not that it could be that big a deal, but it would be best just to keep yourself, there's some bubble around the area you're working, your protective bubble around you, beyond the one around your body. I mean, one that extends past the property, that sort of thing, a dome of protection, for you to operate in, while you're doing that. It just seems this is your, I want to call it, not experimental nature, but you're just, this is how you experience things, and you're using it as a facet of learning. So it's fine. Just put a dome of protection that extends, you know, quite a ways beyond your property, to keep out negative energies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Wow.
it's just so good to be able to be with you guys in person. It's just so fun. It's such a good time. I could stay forever just for that part of it. If we'd have sunshine.
Oh, I know, and it was really hot. Now it seems like Deborah was commenting, she's wondering if summer's over, and I don't want to say those words, but, you know, I'm hoping that it can warm up a little more again, you know, for swimming and that sort of thing, on the, you know, that sort of thing. But it's been so wonderful having you here. Haven't seen you in such a while, so we're just, what a blessing having you here in person, as well as obviously on the calls. So
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to go around again, and I'm going to go start back with Pat again, just to be not original. Do you have anything left? Anything else to share? Any thoughts? Anything at all?
Well, John does.
Yeah.
He wants you to know, and people to know, that he's having a heart ablation on the 29th of August. And this was, he was guided by his intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and choose that. And then I'm just going to add, is there anything coming through for him concerning this process and his recovery? it's supposed to be a really quick recovery, not a, if it goes well, and it should go well. The doctor he has is very excellent.
Boy, this is from his high self. I'm just going to share it this way. Just do the things you know you're supposed to do. That was from just a very practical thing. And just be open as he is. Because things are coming through quite deliberately on the part of the divine and his higher guidance in the background. Things are, happening so that these energies can come in and do the work that they have to do without his conscious awareness.
So do the things you're supposed to do.
Both medically, just, both, I guess if he's guided spiritually to do the things, as he's as he's aware to do them, if he's got things he needs to do, and this seems like it was both practical things, like if you're supposed to, I'll make up something, take your medicine at 9 and 5, then take your medicine at 9 and 5, that sort of thing. But also spiritual, because it all ties together. And the energies coming in that are in the background, that we all have those, but he has an increase here as of recently. They're doing some really important work. It'll affect his physical body as well as just all the bodies, physical, mental, emotional, causal, all of them. Etheric, you name it. It's helping them all. So, but it's doing it very quietly. And I use the word I like to use, and I borrowed it from electronics, because the transistors have what's called quiescent current. It's just a very, very micro amps of electricity going through them that keep them active so that they can do their job, switching on and off. And it's called quiescent, which means quiet. And that's what this energy is. It's a very quiescent energy. You'd never even know it's there unless someone, like we're mentioning it now. Now he might become aware of it, but for the most part, it's just going to stay innocuously in the background.
Well, that's really cool. I like how you tied that, how it all tied together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
it does all tie together to what he's doing, not only with procedures, but that ties to the spiritual, to other things. It's all kind of a woven thing that he's being guided to do. That's why they're just saying, just do what you are guided to do, from the practical to the aesthetic.
Very cool. Very cool. And then with me, is there, Marci and I had quite the time this morning together, exploring, I would say, interdimensional energies as we walked. We'd be walking and we were above the lake, Kukanusa. It was like, whoa, and so we'd stop for a while and just feel into it. And then we'd keep walking, and then it would happen again. And then we sat on a ledge. So we had quite the morning together. And then anyway, so this 888 thing, as it's been coming on this week, it's been pretty heavy chevy. Anyway, I'm just wondering if my guidances, angels, any of them have anything that they want me to know or hear or be aware of.
Interestingly, it's not one of kind of, I'm not sure why they said this. So you keep doing what you're doing. And you've been asking for quite some time about when your next session is. All the stuff that's happening, they have, we think we talked October, and that looks like that's what it, if you want to do it, that's what it'll be. But October, all the stuff you're doing right now, this is what it ties to, and all the experiences you're going through, they're going to be using those so that you can, for what they have in store for you for the next session.
Oh,
that's what they want you to know. That's what they want you to know. So they want you to keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
And you got all these different facets of your life that you have all these different areas, and they may look disparate, but they're not. Anyway. So anyway, that's what they wanted you to know. So there you are. I wasn't going to mention that, but they wanted you to, that they have plans.
Okay, well, that's very helpful. Thank you very much, Jeff.
You're welcome. All right. Paula, are you there? And if so, any last thoughts? Anything at all? Any guys' questions? Anything at all?
I'm just happy to be here. I don't have any more questions. Thank you, everyone, for all of the great questions and input. As always, it's a blessing.
Yeah. And I do have one more thing for you from your high self. Okay. And she just wants you to keep, as you're talking about how you felt the stuck and stuff, keep going. Keep going. What you're doing now is really important. And we can always say that every little step is important. This one's really important because of all this work that you were doing. We've talked about over the time. You had this stage and this stage and this stage. Those stages have allowed for this to happen, which may not look like a good thing, but it is. But as it happens, and as you become aware of the, I want to use the, I don't say that's not, it's a negative word. I want to use it. It says ramifications. You can say ramifications of eating a cake is it tastes good. Okay, so that's can be a positive thing, you know. But as you're becoming aware of the results that are the outcomes of this. This is you're opening into. It's letting the old heavier energies, that logjam, go, and it'll be bright. Although it may to your low self seem like a loss. You may feel like a sorrow from time to time. That's a natural mourning of the low self as it lets go of the logjam, because it's the old and familiar for it. And even though it wasn't necessarily beneficial, it was the thing it knew. So if you have that happen, it's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. And just do your best to work through it and know it's happening because the light's coming in.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, Franny and Loree, I guess anything left for either one of you? Any last thoughts, questions, anything to share at all?
No, I just continue to find it difficult to keep feeling like I'm stumbling around in the dark. And I know you tell me what is coming through, what I'm supposed to know, but it's hard. So I'm dealing with it.
Yeah, and we don't, and I know Franny knows about this because she's a counselor. She can tell you about Johari's windows, sometimes called Johari windows, but it's the same thing. These 4 windows anyways. And that's a useful model, and they use it in counseling, they use it in business, they use it in marketing. Interestingly, that's how I learned about it, because it came out in our marketing class. Anyway, in the 1 window is the things you know about yourself that others also know. And I may be mixing up 2 and 3. Then 2 is things that we know about ourselves that others do not know. Things that, we both know your name. We both know things about you. Things that you know, the others don't know. And these can be just things that they aren't aware of. They can also be secrets. But these are this allows others to see what we don't. The things you us to see things that others don't. Reverse that. Then the 3rd window, 3 and 4 are the ones that can really. These are where it seems like nothing. Like we think nothing's happening when in reality others can see that they are. And the 3rd window is things that others can know about us that we do not know. It's what others can see, and that includes. I'm going to say others include your guides, people you know. Other aspects of yourself, including your high self, they can see these things within you. And I don't know why they had me bring this up. Somebody had me bring it up. I think your high self and somebody else. They're keeping kind of elusive anyway. They want you to know that you're not able to see it. I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to anyway. They like it this way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
And they like it this way, not to be mean. They like it this way because it's allowing you to do the things you need to do. Honestly, that's why. That's why it has to be this way with you, because the minute you get to know something, they tell me, then you want to, this is their words, not mine. I'm repeating this. They say you meddle with it. you start you internally kind of meddling with it rather than just letting it flow and go through the process, right? Rather than watch the movie, you start critiquing it and, well, I wonder if this movie's actor is tied to the one that they did 3 movies ago. See that technique they're doing? Look at that. Look at how they're doing that. You do this kind of in your own way in your own life. That's why that's why it seems like from your point of view, things may not be happening as much or in the way you like. But the reality is, it is true. It is flowing, and right now, it's going as it needs to go, and it's going in a positive direction. So, and the 4th window, by the way, is that which neither we nor others know about. And I'm going to say that excludes our guides. They know pretty much everything in our high self. So the 4th window doesn't apply to them. But usually, if it's in our 4th window, they're not going to talk to us about it anyway. Most of the time. So anyway, so I thank you for sharing that, but they wanted you to know that. And again,
Okay, good.
yeah.
All right.
Franny.
Just wanted to say thank you to everybody for being here. It's always so enlightening to be part of this and to hear each other's stories. And I wanted to just give a big shout out to Marci for being here live and in person. It's been fun to see you here after so many years, and just wish you the best as you follow where your feet take you, as you follow your path.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, I agree. I'm just, wow. Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to go find myself because people are moving on my screen again here. So they think they're doing it with just to mess with me here. So that's all right. I like it. Eryn, do you have any last thoughts? Anything at all?
No, just if there's anything else my guides have for me to keep me going, because sometimes I want to quit.
They know that, and you're doing it. You whatever you use it, you got your hands full or whatever it is you said. You're really there's all these structures associated with this, trying to do what others trying to do what others' expectations are, meeting those and the sort of things, rather than just living from our own guidance, which is easier said than done. But you're really in the process of doing that, and they want you to just keep doing it. And I would say it's kind of like one of those bigger projects, that room that we never wanted to reorganize because there was so much stuff in the room. We just never, like, opening the door and we said, no, we'll do it next week. You've been doing that for a while with this, next week, next year, next lifetime. You're doing it. So just keep doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. And Marci.
Well, it's funny when Pat was talking about our walk this morning, and then you mentioned about her having a session with you. I started getting teary-eyed, and I don't know what that was about. I don't know if it was about her or about the session, or I never did ask you for a session for me. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, what do you think it's about? I think I'll answer your question. I'll tell you what it is, and I think Pat already kind of knows. But what do you think? What do you sense it's about? Why you felt that way?
I just love her so much. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's because of your connection with her. All these wonderful energetic connections. When we have a session, let's talk real quick about sessions. Well, I'm gonna make it real quick. When Deborah and I are guided, we created, we are guided. The divine creates a sacred space, and we work on them. And we're channels of they are the ones doing the session. We just do what they have them to do. But when we're working on someone, when they're being worked on from their guides and the divine working through us, all the connections they have are all those energies that are coming in during that session. Also, if it's applicable, will connect with other people, and they get a session, and they're not even there, and it ties to you. It's your connection between the two of you. As when that happens, it will also affect you.
Okay.
It has to do with your relationship, but it also has to do commonalities and things I don't want to share right now because they don't want me to share. So, but as that session happens for her, when that happens, it's going to go out to not just you, but all others that she has interconnections with. And for those where it's appropriate and they're ready and their higher guidance is there, because on the inner plane, they all know this is going, they all know about the session. It's going to, they're going to be able to receive the energies that are for them through Pat because she chose to be open for a session, and you are certainly going to be a recipient of it. And it's emotional because it has some very positive effects for you. I'm going to just leave it that kind of gray area. It's a wonderful bright gray area. It's brilliant colors of things, but I don't want to share what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
they don't want me to share what it is. That's a more accurate statement. So
I'm glad you see me right now.
yeah, it's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing, but it's just something that it needs to happen for it to happen, and not for your conscious mind to know anything about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So thank you. All right. Before I close, does anyone have anything before we say goodbye for this evening?
I just want to say that last thing that you said, I think has helped. It's helped already. That's something I can work with. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you. Well, blessings and light to all of you. And as always, until next time, blessings, light, and love. And we'll see you next month.
Love to you all. Good night.